Welcome to Pack 44. And the purpose of this training is to sort of get you on your feet in terms of resources available to you, how the pack is run, how the pack is led, and ways that you can get involved and help the pack go. So welcome to Pack 44. Get ready for a really fun time with your son and get ready to get involved to help the pack go. Why Cub Scouting? So purposes of Cub Scouting: get outdoors and out from in front of the TV or video games. You get to interact with kids, your son's own age, for face-to-face time instead of computer program. Be exposed to positive role models, a safe and exciting environment, and become more confident and develop a better sense of self-esteem. The purposes of Cub Scouting: so helping to build character and encourage spiritual growth, developing habits and attitudes of good citizenship, encouraging good sportsmanship and pride, and growing strong in mind and body, strengthening family relationships, fostering a sense of personal achievement by developing new interests and skills. I can speak from personal experience. I started as a Cub Scout in first grade. I went all the way through Tiger, Wolf, Bear. Actually, when I joined, Tiger was a pilot program. So before that, it just sort of started in second grade. But I went all the way through Cub Scouts, and then I went all the way through Boy Scouts, and I got my Eagle. And I can say that outside of my church and faith community relationships, Scouting was the most formative organization in impacting my entire life. It impacted the types of things that I wanted to learn more about and discover. It impacted my experiences with nature. It impacted my, frankly, ability to be confident in terms of first aid and working in emergency scenarios and having to use those first aid skills as a father more times than I have wanted to. It even impacted where my wife and I went on our honeymoon because I got sold on snorkeling when I went down to Sea Base as a Boy Scout. The Scouts actually own an island in the Florida Keys, and that was one of the most incredible weeks of my life. So I can tell you from personal experience that it is absolutely worth it in your son's lives to be investing his time and making time for it. So you're starting now, first steps, whether it's first grade, second grade, third grade, but if you and your son stick with it, the impact will be life-changing and will be lifelong. So how does Cub Scouting work? So you and your son join a Cub Scout den. So earlier people said the den that they were in. A Cub Scout den is a small group of boys in the same grade level who meet weekly. Your Cub Scout den is part of a Cub Scout pack. We are Pack 44. And the Cub Scout pack meets monthly at our monthly pack meetings. So the pack meetings at 44, it's the fourth Tuesday of the month. And the first 3 Tuesdays are all den meetings. Pack meetings are where all the ages come together for songs, skits, some recognition, etc. And the weekly meetings are when the boys meet with their cohort of the same grade. So Scout dens, just to sort of get you orientated. Lion Den, those are boys in kindergarten. So that's actually brand new. We were a pilot last year for the Lion program. We were one of the pilots in the area, and we've continued to do that. So it's a much lower time commitment. It's basically 2 times a month, and they usually don't meet with the rest of the pack. It's really just opportunity to get involved, parent and son, and just sort of exploring what scouting's about. Starting in first grade, that's the first official Cub Scout rank when they are approaching and their Tiger Den year, as in first grade. For Tigers, it is a requirement that a parent or guardian is with the boys at each meeting. Okay? That requirement changes to an encouragement later on, but for definitely in first grade, that is a requirement. The Wolf Cub Den, boys in second grade. Bear Cub Den is grade 3, and then the Weeblos, boys in grades 4 and 5. Weeblos actually stands for We'll Be Loyal Scouts. It's part of what they learn as part of the program, and they work on requirements for the Weeblos badge. They've got activity pins they work towards, and the Arrow of Light. The Arrow of Light is earned in the second year of Weeblos. It's the highest award in Cub Scouting. It is the only achievement in Cub Scouting that can actually be worn on the Boy Scout uniform. It's sort of like the Eagle of Cub Scouting. So how the Cub Scout pack is organized. So the actual pack is organized with a Cub Master, an assistant Cub Master, and then beneath the Cub Master, we have the Lion Den Guide, and then the den leaders for each of the different age groups. And those den leaders have assistants that help them. And this is the organization that's responsible for the fun, the learning, the character development, the mentoring of the boys. Okay? So besides the pack structure, we've got the pack committee structure. So at the very top there, I know it's kind of small, but we have the committee chair. That's Ryan. Assistant committee chair is myself. Pack trainer, Tony here, and the volunteer chair is Annette, and so she's taking over for me after I cross over with my son. And then beneath that, again, I'm sorry, it's very small. We do have this on our website if you want to look at more details. There's a whole bunch of roles that are responsible for helping the pack go. So treasurer, secretary, advancement chair, recruiting chair, webmaster, and then we've got a bunch of chairs that have other people helping them out. So we've got our events chair that take care of things like our cake bake, the blue and gold banquet, crossover picnic, and sporting events. Outdoor activity chair, who takes care of the fishing derby, summer camp, breakfast hike, and parades. Service chair, a big part of scouting is service to others. And so we do scouting for food every November. We help collect food from the community for the Warwick Community Chest. I think it was like 15,000 pounds of food we collected last year with the other scouting units in the area. We also go Christmas caroling at a nursing home in December. We do Scout Sunday celebration, and then we help with park cleanup. And then there's also other service projects that sort of come and go, but those are the main four that we do. And then fundraising chair is over our popcorn kernel, which we're obviously in the throes of popcorn season right now, and wreath sales, assistant popcorn, et cetera. So this is the committee. This is the standing committee, and this is everybody that's responsible for helping the pack from a logistics perspective, helping parents be involved, helping parents be comfortable with what's going on, et cetera. The question was at the wolf level, do you leave them at the meetings by themselves? You may, but you're also welcome to stay and be involved. So it is a requirement at the tiger level, but wolf and then higher, you are encouraged to participate because then you know what they're doing each week and you can talk about it and there's stuff to do at home, but it's not a hard and fast requirement. But the other thing also is, and we'll be talking about a little later on, we've got a big pack. We've got a lot of big dens, and parental involvement is key for the boys to get as much as they can out of it. Some other packs struggle with parents thinking BSA stands for the Babysitters of America. We don't have that problem. We have a very active parental group, a lot of people involved, and so we ask new parents to be involved. And even if your involvement just means that you are there at the den meeting, you are offering your help to the den leaders if they need hands-on help or they need prep help or whatever, that is a great way for this first year for you to get involved, get to know the boys that are in your son's den, et cetera. So that's a great question. All right, so our unit's not alone. So from an organizational structure, we are part of the Pennsylvania Dutch Council. That's what you see on the shoulder patches. When you get your boy's uniform, you need to get a council patch. So there are councils all over the country, and that's sort of the top local level. Our district is the Horseshoe Trail District. So that includes Lititz, Ephrata, Lebanon County. And there's two other districts that make up the council. So the council is all three districts. So you might talk to friends at work and they talk about a Cub Scout activity that's going on, such and such a weekend. You haven't heard about it. Well, there's a very good chance that means it's a district activity. And so when, we're doing the breakfast hike next weekend, these other districts, the Harvest and the Conestoga, they're not doing that. That's just our district. They have their own things they do in the fall. So just to make you aware, there are sort of other things that are going on. And then the districts compete against each other for things like popcorn and Klondike Derby and stuff like that. Our charting organization. So one thing about Boy Scouts is we don't report up to anything at the national level. All right. So we are responsible to our chartering organization, which is St. Paul's Church, where we're sitting right now. And that's different than the Girl Scouts, where my understanding is that the Girl Scouts actually report up to national. They don't have the chartering organization structure. That's what I've been told. I was never a Girl Scout. But it's really important to understand our relationship with St. Paul's is important. They are giving us the space. They've got somebody on our committee. They are helping out in any way they can with facilities. And in return, we really need to be respectful of the property, especially the rooms that we meet in downstairs. Those are all daycare preschool rooms with teachers that come in and expect them to be in the condition they left them in the night before. So one of the things that we have to talk about every year is we don't touch anything in the rooms except for the chairs and the tables. And it's the parents' responsibility to make sure that the den leader's there and responsible when they drop off their kid or stay with the kids to help make sure that the rooms are not torn apart. And so it's something that we'll continue to remind on, but we can really use your partnership in reminding your sons, but also then in being present, because there's a lot of really cool toys in there. And if I was 7, I would want to be in all of those bins as well. All right. So we really appreciate the partnership with St. Paul. This goes back many, many decades. The troop here is actually 60 years old. And I think the pack is around like 50. So there's a long-standing relationship with the church. All right, scouting is a safe adventure. So this is a public service announcement about youth protection training. So in the email that all of you got from Jim about the things you do to join the pack, one of the things on there was online youth protection training. This only takes 20 minutes. I know many people here have already finished it. If you haven't done it, I'd ask that you please do so. We ask everybody complete it within 3 months of joining the pack, because we want all adults to be youth protection certified for 2 reasons. Number one, so you know what to expect from us leaders, right? So that you know that we are never going to be one-on-one with a scout. We're always going to have 2 adults present at every outing. We're always, that there's the privacy is respected. We have very strict no hazing, no bullying rules, etc. But number 2, it makes it easier for you to step into a leadership role because you've been trained in that. And again, they're really great. The BSA is recognized as having one of the best youth protection programs in the nation in terms of how seriously we take it. So we'd ask you to go through 25 minutes of training online and be part of that. Now, this is BSA. There's also, as most of you are aware, Pennsylvania added its own sort of levels of youth protection a couple years ago with the PA Act 15. And so any adult that's going to be participating on camping trips or as a leader, it needs to have those clearances turned into the council as well. And there's information on that in our parent handbook. There's also information on the PA Dutch website. Feel free to grab us, ask any questions. It's basically there's 2 background clearances, and if you have not lived in Pennsylvania for 10 years, then there's an FBI background as well. And that is for any organization in the state where any adult is having any contact with youth, whether it's sports or church or scouts or whatever. Part of the parents' responsibility every year, there is a pull-out section on talking about youth protection issues with your son. And actually, at our family, we do this with the whole family. Like we do it around mealtime with my daughters as well. And it covers things like online safety. It covers things like, at school. It covers things in terms of, you're walking your dog and somebody asks, hey, could you please help me take my groceries into my house? That type of scenario. So we actually role play them around the dinner table. My kids have always had a lot of fun with that. So that is sort of one-on-one you're doing with your scout. This is something you do by yourself without your scout, and it just goes through what the expectations of leaders are, or any adult that is working within scouting with youth. Like I said, it's about 25 minutes. You make a free online account. It walks you through slides. You do some quizzes, and then you're done. Uniform. Okay, so there's more details in the PAC 44 parent handbook, but I wanted to include a slide, just make sure everybody's aware. It consists of your shirt, a neckerchief, a slide, and a belt. Hat is optional. Everything's available at the Scout store. This is what's known as the field uniform. So any official activity, if we're in a parade, if we're coming to a scout meeting, if we're going to camp, we wear this uniform. We're representing scouting. We're representing PAC 44. One of the things we've talked about doing in the past is surprise uniform inspections with the possibility of surprises for the boys that do well. So it's something we want to take seriously. You'll also hear the term, you'll hear this also referred to as Class A uniform. That's sort of the nickname for it. You'll also hear Class B or activity uniform. So if you are flinging whipped cream around in an activity, or if you're doing, tug of war in a mud pit, you don't want to wear that. So everybody, when they join, should have also gotten a green PAC 44 t-shirt. That is our activity uniform. And so if we're doing very active outings, or some days at summer camp, we'll say, okay, wear your green activity uniform. Now, technically, any BSA t-shirt is an activity uniform. So if the boys go to summer camp and get a t-shirt or some other activity, those are the 2 types of uniforms. It should say for the event which uniform to wear, and especially for leaders, it's really, really helpful if we say, hey, please everyone wear your green activity uniform. If all the boys do it, then it's so much easier to actually see who's ours, right? Especially when we're going to like big scouting events where maybe there's 300 or 400 boys there. We want to be able to quickly see, okay, 14 green shirts, let's go, and have all the adults be able to do that. The Scout store is in Lancaster. It's on Janet Avenue. And so that's where you would go to get the pieces that you need. Now, there is a Scout store online. I've never used it myself, and you have to pay shipping. So normally I just go down, look at the hours and figure out time to stop in Lancaster. Okay, so PAC communication. This is really important. We're all really busy, and being able to know what's going on when and being able to be in the loop is important. So email, make sure you're on the email list. So everybody should have gotten an email last night from Ryan that said, hey, these are things coming up in the pack. If you didn't, flag him down, let him know, and we'll get you added to the email list. We use a Google group with all of the family's emails on it. And then that way someone can, the leadership can distribute to everybody that's on the list and get the word out. www.pack44lititz.org is our website. We try really, really hard to keep any relevant information that needs to be in front of you on that website. Okay, so if there's stuff that's going out in an announcement about an activity, it should also be on the webpage, so you don't have to go going through your email to find it. All right, so bookmark it, explore it, see what's there. There's a lot of good stuff there. The pack calendars. So pack44lititz.org/calendar. We actually have like 7 pack calendars because we've got one for the whole pack, and then we have one for each den. And then we also have one that's just for the leaders. Okay, inside the parent handbook, there is several pages on this is how you subscribe to the pack calendar through Google, through Outlook, etc. And it has the list of the links. So you can add it to your Google account, have it show up on your phone, have it show up on your computer, have it show up on your tablet, and you're able to see what's actually going on. I would advise when all of you guys become leaders, because everyone's going to be involved and it's going to be awesome, just know that leaders all have edit rights on the pack calendar. So we actually had an incident a couple months ago where somebody was randomly deleting stuff from their phone thinking, oh, I'm not going to that, I'm not going to that. And it was disappearing from the pack calendar. So just know that in advance. But it's actually really great because the leaders are able to immediately push out that information and make it available, get it on people's phones, etc. All right, the pack library. So we use Google Drive for all relevant information. So if you go onto the website, there's a link to the pack library, and that includes documents on events, the parent handbook, documents on uniform, all sorts of fun stuff. We've got folders up there for pictures, for swapping pictures, and it's locked down to just the members of the pack. So the stuff that goes in there is not publicly accessible. You need to be on the pack Google group to get in. So please try to get in, and if you can't, let us know so we can make sure to get the right email address associated for you. And then we have a Facebook account. We also have a YouTube channel. These are sort of secondary. They're not our primary communication, but we've got people that like to do those, and so it's just another way to sort of get out social media. But you don't need to be on Facebook or on YouTube to be in the loop. You need to be on our email list to be in the loop. Any questions about communication? I should say, besides this, you'll be getting communication from your den leader as well. So the pack list is to everybody in the pack. So if we're saying, hey, there's a sign up, or hey, there's this, that, the other, also make sure that your den leader has your preferred email, because your den leader will be sending his or her own communication specific to your den. All right? Scoutbook, www.scoutbook.com. This is our online rank tracking and communication. So see your book for a sec here. The old school way of doing advancement is I don't even know if they have it anymore. Yeah, they've just got a place for initials. There used to be a line on the bottom of every single thing in the book that said date, approved by, recorded. There'd be 150 of those stupid lines or 200 of those lines in the book, and you've got a den leader with 12 boys and 12 books and running a full den meeting. There is no way that he was able to stay on top. You'd have to have a leader just to collect the books and spend the whole meeting transferring stuff. So that's gone the way of the dinosaur. Scoutbook.com is where we do all of our tracking for advancement. So if you don't have a login, let us know. Get you a login, and you'll have full access to your Scout. You can see what he has accomplished. You can sign off on things in there. It works on your smartphone, works on your tablet, works on your laptop. It is a great way, two-way communication between you and the leader. This is also where the payment log section is what are known as our Scout accounts. So if your boy participates in a fundraiser and they get money towards events or gear or whatever, it all goes in there. If you sign up for an event, your Scout account gets debited, and we ask that everybody check in, periodically to make sure that you're not in the red. All right, and you can also pay up your Scout account. So if there's some activities coming up, and so you just want to write a check for $30 to cover the next 3 campouts or something, you can do that, and then you don't have to be doing a check for every single event that we do. Okay, that's all taken care of by our treasurer, Rodney Cole, in the payment log section of Scoutbook. So for that reason alone, it's really important that you get in there. But also then to see your son's requirements and being able to sign off at stuff at home. He can actually read through the book and say, hey, I'd like to do this engineering project at home. You can say, great, let's do it together. And then you can go in and sign off on it. His leader will see that in a report. His leader will verify it, and then he'll get awarded the achievement. Fundraising. So that's a nice segue into fundraising. When we first joined the pack 4 years ago, I think I counted they did 9 fundraisers that year, and some of them actually lost money. Okay, so we have come a long way. We made some strategic decisions. We looked at the options. We decided we were going to put all of our effort into popcorn. Okay, popcorn is the required fundraiser for families that have been with the pack, for a year or longer. So you guys are exempt, but you're welcome to still jump in and participate. I know Troy has, which is awesome. And so we put a lot of focus on that because it pays for the entire year. Now, we had a couple other fundraisers that had been successful in the past, and some, especially new families, wanted to do them because they got in sort of late for popcorn and they wanted to build up their Scout account. So we leave these as optional fundraisers, specifically that if families decide they want to get involved, they can. We'll do a wreath sale in the winter, which basically we get the wreaths, I think, from Espen Shades and sell them at a markup. And that's pretty easy, pretty popular. Boys go around. You want to buy a wreath for $20? Yes. Okay. We'll deliver it Thanksgiving. Here you go. Camp cards. This one's actually a really nice one. It's put on by the council. No money goes to the pack and no money goes to the council. All of the proceeds from that go to the Scout. And that's why it's called camp cards, because they can build up money for summer camp that way. We'll put out more information when those events get closer. If anybody wants to do popcorn in the next 2 weeks, just see us. We'll get you information. You can, again, you can jump on that and help the pack go. But it's important to know that 20% of all proceeds go into Scout accounts. To my knowledge, that's the highest percentage of any unit in the area. But we want to give families the opportunity to see a direct relationship between their effort and the benefit that their Scout is getting. So there's a lot more details in the parent handbook about the Scout account, but basically you can use it to pay for any expense related to Scouting, all the activities. You can pay for uniform. You can even use it for gear, like camping gear and whatnot. There's a form you fill out to get reimbursed from your Scout account for stuff that you go out and buy so that your son has a good experience out in the woods at 50 degrees at night or whatever. So if you do $500 of popcorn, that means $100 goes into their Scout accounts, which is really great. So again, there's more details in the handbook. Your role as a parent. So getting the most out of Cub Scouts, this can be so much fun with your son. I can't emphasize that enough. The memories that I've been able to make with my boys going through this, and now in Boy Scouts as well as in Cub Scouts, I've got a 12-year-old who is in the troop. It's just been incredible. Some of our best memories as a family have been things that we have gone on as a family, and just the experiences we've been able to have that we never would have had before. Sleeping on a ship overnight. I went whitewater rafting with my 12-year-old son out by Pittsburgh. I mean, just all sorts of really fun things. So get involved. Come to the meetings. Understand what your son is working towards and help them. Encourage them to do their best. Engage in the events as a family. Everything that we do as a pack is intended to be a family event. Okay, so sisters, younger siblings, older siblings are welcome to be involved. The only thing that they can't be directly involved with is the Tuesday night meetings. They can come, but it's obviously focused on the boys. But like this weekend, I'm bringing my 4-year-old to the breakfast hike. He can't wait. We're going to have a lot of fun together. So going on family hikes, read and understand the parent handbook. So again, you should have gotten a link to that when you joined. If you have a question, you can't find it, just let us know. But there's so much information, much more than I could do in 30 minutes here. Partner with your den leader on Scout Book. Volunteer to help the pack go. All right, so we made that change about 4 years ago that really just made a huge difference in the pack. When we joined about 4 years ago, there were 19 boys. And there were about 3 leaders getting super, super burned out, and all the parents just sort of dumping their boys and they're off. And it wasn't sustainable. Their leaders were burnt out and leaving. And so we made a change at that point. And just like Warwick Little League, if you've been involved in Little League in Warwick, if your son is going to play baseball, you have to do something to help. Whether it's manning the concession stand, painting the lines on the field, everybody doing a little bit means that everyone can have a great time. So we've got the same policy here. All parents are expected to help, whether it's at the den level, whether it's with events, whether it's on the committee, whatever. This is sort of your honeymoon phase where you get to see what's going on, figure out what you'd like to do, and then figure out how you'd like to pitch in and help. All of the really fun things we're doing, the vast majority of them have been new parents coming up with ideas saying, wouldn't it be great if X, Y, Z? And they run with it. And the boys get the experience and the parents get the experience. So all families are asked to volunteer in at least one way during the year. And then the last thing, participate in the popcorn fundraiser. If not this year, then absolutely next year. Helping the pack go. So right now you have the opportunity to observe, to help your den leader. And then also when Ryan sends out an email and says, hey, we need more parents to help setting up X, Y, Z, or we need help to get the parade float ready for the October Halloween parade, or we're going to need some more parents to do some thinking about why. That's your chance to sort of put your hand up and stick your toe in the water. Come May, we're going to be looking to refill all of the positions for the following year. And so I'm just putting that out there so you know that that's coming and you have opportunities right now. Get to know the other leaders, get to know the other parents, get to know the boys, and figure out where you're going to have the most fun helping the pack go. If you haven't already filled out the volunteer form, please do. The button looks like that on our website. This is Volunteer to Help. All right, so fun, friendship, and memories. Yes, prepared for life.